Today, our People Special gives you a look back at the gems of wisdom from the life stories of the people we have featured. They come from all walks of life, politics, business, and the arts. They faced many challenges, but prevailed in the end. We impart to you their valuable life lessons. Poverty is not uncommon in the Philippines, but for some who made it to the top of their field, be it in government or business, their humble roots became their source of motivation. Former Chief Justice Hilario Davide and Silicon Valley visionary Dado Banatao had very humble beginnings. Dado was the son of a farmer. Don Jun's father was a school teacher.
The humble beginnings were, as a matter of fact, the inspiration to move forward all the time. So even if you have to walk 18 kilometers from my barangay to the poblacion, it didn't matter. So it was just a step forward. Every step that we made was a step towards something much better. My papa inspired all of us to go to UP. That was the reason I was even a working student. He gave me a very small monthly allowance. Only 30 pesos a month. So I have to be, because they were very, very poor. At the time, Papa was only a district supervisor. So I had to work 4 hours a day at the rate of 50 centavos an hour. So at least I have 60 pesos a month. And free lodging in the dormitory.
So you had time still to study?
Yes, because the library of the College of Law in UP opened up to 11 o'clock in the evening. And I usually would wake up 2:30 in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. And until now, that's my habit. So what I did was to sleep early and to wake up when everybody was asleep, so that the best time was 2 o'clock. And then I'll be alone in studying. And a habit that had been kept by me until now.
I learned about people by reading biographies of famous engineers, inventors.
Who among the inventors were you fascinated with?
There were these two guys. One of them is Tesla. He was the guy that was credited for inventing alternating current. You can imagine 200 plus years later, we're still using it, and the impact is tremendous. That's one. Thomas Edison. That's what fascinated me more. How did they get it done, or how did they even imagine it?
Inspired by their life stories.
Oh yeah, very much. In fact, I derive some of the things that I did in school from those readings as to about how they came up with that. It's not just...
It's not a spark?
A switch. No, it's not.
In your
They
brain.
worked hard at it. Day in, day out, things didn't work. They kept at it, until they perfected it. What got me to do so well are my own discipline in doing things.
Manila Vice Mayor Isko Moreno was known as Francisco Dumagoso, or Iska, to his schoolmates, back when he would scavenge for dinner in the trash can. His father worked as a stevedore with no steady income.
Pag upo ko, pinupulaanan pa rin ako sa pag-aaral ko. What I did is inaral ko ano ba ang pagiging konsehal. While in the office, talagang habang session, nakikinig ako, parliamentary procedure, parliamentary rules, certain laws, the difference between ordinances and resolution and the effects of it, pinag-aral ako lahat. Then I heard somebody went to UP. It was then former mayor, now Governor Vilma Santos. She went to UP.
Pumunta ka sa UP?
Yes, I went there. Inquired. Sabi niya, hindi executive yun eh. you're a member of the local legislative body. Kasi we will create a syllabus for you. You come up with at least 10 individuals. So, nanguha sila, nanguha din ako, nakabuo kami, I think 11 kami at 12.
Second Lieutenant Tom Puertoliano, PMA's valedictorian this year, is the son of a carpenter. His father, Mario, was exploding with pride at Tom's graduation from the military academy. Anong pakiramdam?
Hindi ko ma-express. Napakasaya, napaka-deep. Basta lahat parang dito sa akin.
Paano niyo natustusan ang pag-aaral ng anak niyo sa kabila mo ng siyempre gipit din po ang...
Napakahirap. Huwag ko na sabihin at baka mag-iyakan pa tayo. Nang ipanganak siya ng gabi, kinabukasan, pumunta ako sa malayong lugar, maghanap lang ng makain, iniwanan ko sila, umiiyak ako, pero tiniis ko.
Yung na-appreciate mo yung importance talaga nung education. Yung importance nung magsikap ka. Dahil alam mo na na-experience mo yung sitwasyon na mahirap. And kung wala kang gagawin, hindi mo seseryosohin yung pag-aaral mo and yung pagsisikap mo, malaki yung chance na baka tumanda ka na in the same situation. Kaya na-instill sa akin yung importance na magsikap.
Uncompromising integrity is a quality inherent in many achievers, instilled in them at an early age. SGB founder Washington C-SIP's father Albino was president of the first Filipino-Chinese bank in the country, but he wanted his son to venture on his own.
He always said that don't come into the bank where he was the CEO. He says, if you do well and I promote you, they'll say it's nepotism. If you don't do well, it would of course also embarrass me. So keep out.
So he never wanted you to inherit the business or his position in the bank?
No, definitely. And of course the bank had other shareholders, other board members. But he was the one that insisted no family members.
It was this same principle that propelled the growth of SGV from a one-man operation to the biggest professional services firm in the country.
From my viewpoint, if you get a bright person, he would want to be not only a partner, but he would have the possibility of leading the firm. So I went around the universities, talk to the graduating classes and say, even if I get married, my children will not come into the firm. It will be a complete meritocracy. And so that has been the principle of SGV, and I guess that's why we won out.
Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales was initially rejected as a local judge for her refusal to compromise. And yet, she made it all the way to the highest court of the land.
There was this thing, they called it snowflake. There were about 10 of us in the Department of Justice, or even more. I was very confident because, as I said, I'm Ilocana, Marcos is Ilocano. My father was a classmate. Anyway, so I thought I would make it, but I think the KBL people were later to tell me that Ilocana nga raw ako pero hindi naman ako lumalapit. I didn't find any reason why I should be approaching people, politicians.
It is her belief that integrity is passed on from generation to generation.
Integrity is inherited. It's in your genes. Because even if you are exposed to situations where you're probably tempted to break your integrity, if you are strong, if you have the genes, if you have the will to resist and to avoid temptation, I don't think your integrity will be cracked.
Justice Secretary Laila de Lima was raised by her lawyer father Vicente de Lima to to be independent-minded.
He's a disciplinarian. He's really very strict. Strict in the sense that, okay, baon, even if he can very well afford to spoil me as a child, he didn't. You know, very limited baon. He just made sure that exacto lang, no extra cash for anything else. And then curfew. My father would not at all teach me my homework, my assignments. His line would always be, learn for yourself. Search for the answer to those questions. Do not ask me. I don't want to spoon feed you. My only mindset, and that one I can guarantee everyone. Go where the evidence take you or lead you, and with fair play. You would not also believe me, Seth, when I tell you that whenever people approach me about cases, no one would dare asking me or requesting me to decide one way or the other. If they did, what would you do? No one would dare try to bribe me, because if that eventuality happens, then I will arrest him or her myself. That's a citizen's arrest. Yes, I will just call my security and tell them to put a handcuff.
Next on People, having the courage of one's convictions. Living one's principles and beliefs, no matter the cost, exacts courage when put to the test. The convictions of Rodolfo Salas, who built the Communist New People's Army to its highest position of strength, were challenged many times.
Nakalakihan namin yung sympathy at saka aming nandun sa mga karaniwang tao. Kaya kahit na kaming mga magkapatid nakapag-aral, yun ang naitanim sa amin, no? Na hindi lang yung pansarili, kundi yung makatulong ka sa kapwa mo, yung kapwa-tao, gano'n.
Salas fought for his beliefs and ideals, abandoning his studies to join the movement, eventually rising to head the CPP, NPA, and DS, until he was thrown in jail, where he languished for 6 years, betrayed by his own comrades. Today, he continues to work to improve the lot of the Filipino laborer by organizing cooperatives.
So, instead of changing the world, kahit na isang bayan lang o isang barangay, hindi lang ako, maraming mga kasama namin ganyan. Sabi ko, tayo? Back to home base. Uwi kayo sa inyong bayan. Then, alam naman natin yung ng martial law, nag-survive tayo, lumakas tayo, nakatulong tayo sa tao. Higit pa ngayon, di ba?
Senator Antonio Trillanes IV had launched a mutiny not just once, but twice against the Gloria Arroyo presidency.
Based on my conviction that there was no other way to do it. We had to go through that, even at the expense of our careers and at the risk of our lives. You were there, Seth. And but it just needed to be done. That's my conviction.
He spent 7 years and 5 months in jail, but the senator says he has no regrets.
The fact that it grounded me for that much time and insulated me from the usual traditional political influences, and the fact and that experience na nakasalimuha ko iba't ibang mga klase ng tao, lumawak in short ng ating pananaw sa mga bagay-bagay.
Even in a prison cell, lumawak.
Yeah. Ironic, yes. It may sound ironic, but mas lalawak ang pananaw niya doon at filosofiya sa buhay.
Senators Jinggoy Estrada and Bongbong Marcos, Army Commander Emmanuel Bautista. They all followed in their father's footsteps. Lieutenant General Bautista was at the age of 19 in his second year at the PMA when his father, Brigadier General Teodolfo Bautista, and 33 other officers were killed by MNLF rebels in Patipul, Sulu. His father's violent death has spurred Bautista to be a warrior for peace.
His legacy is my source of inspiration. He gave up his life to pursue that agenda of peace. And I remember him saying that we are all brother Filipinos. We don't have to kill each other. And I guess that's a reality that we have to really deal with. That we don't have to resort to violence and to killing each other to really solve our problems. We have to win the peace for all of those who came before us. Not only for them, but for our people now, who deserves peace and a better future, and for ourselves.
Senators Estrada and Marcos both grew up in the shadow of their powerful fathers. But it was when their fathers had reached their lowest ebb that they found the strength within themselves. Jinggoy established a strong bond with Erap when they were thrown in detention.
So siguro sabi ng Diyos, sumama tatay mo walang kasama. So that was the time when we really bonded with each other. We were really very close.
What self-discovery did you make? Do you think you needed the lesson in humility, perhaps?
Yes. I became more matured. Hindi na ako yung... Of course, before, I have to admit, I was quite arrogant. Medyo... akala ko hindi na matatapos yung pagsasaya namin. So when I was in jail, slowly but surely, na sabi ko, ito yung binigay sa amin ng Diyos, kinulong kami, siguro meron rason. So I had to reassess everything. I left veterans in a totally different person.
A new Jinggoy.
A new Jinggoy. I really transformed myself, kumbaga. Hindi na yung lumang Jinggoy na, brusko.
In the case of Bongbong, their family was in exile in Hawaii when he let go of the bitterness in him.
Was it hard for you seeing, having come from power and then seeing him in that way?
Yes. It's the hardest thing for me to have to watch. Both in terms of his having been very powerful and very much in control of everything around him, to not, and to actually being this very strong, vital, physically person to slowly deteriorating body that just wouldn't respond. It was one of the probably the most painful thing I had to go through. Inalanghiya tayo, mga palasubes, minumura mo lahat ng tao. And I just got tired of it, I just decided one day, I said, yung angry young men, okay pa yun di ba? Okay, medyo may admiration ka, yung dispassionate, angry young man, there's something. Pero angry old man, di na cute yun If you keep going this way, you'll be those boring old men in the bar, sitting in the corner of the bar, na naglalasing, and sabi, alam mo, sikat kami noon. Yung ganun, sabi ko, that's not the future I wanted for myself.
Will they eventually break out of the shadows of their fathers and turn out to be better public servants?
I think every politician has an ambition this is my profession, this is my career. And of course, every person who is in any profession, any career, wants to be the best at what they do or achieve the most at what they do. And what's the biggest achievement for a politician is to be president.
So now, the next is, they say, vice president.
Still 4 years to go, 2016, but I haven't made up my mind yet.
If you were really to retrace your father's political career, vice president is the next step.
Of course, it depends on the surveys. If the people want me to become their vice president, who am I to refuse them? Let's just put it that way.
Time will tell if they will take history's lessons to heart. Coming up, Pinoy Pride.
Now you're comfortable with who you are. Shouldn't your skin be just as comfortable? Experience Dove Men Plus Care with Micro Moisture. It activates on contact, leaving your skin moisturized. It fights skin dryness better than ordinary men's body wash, leaving your skin feeling comfortable. Dove Men Plus Care. Be comfortable in your own skin. Now available, new Dove Men Facial Foams.
Life deals us unexpected and painful trials, but it's how we bounce back that tests one's character. Grace Ibuna was tagged the other woman in her relationship with the late Congressman Iggy Arroyo when he passed away unexpectedly in London.
Yes, gusto ko lumuhod sa lahat ng doktor doon.
Biglaan no?
Nakikipag-bargain ako kay God. Kung hatiin niya yung buhay ko, buhayin niya lang si Iggy. He had a cardiac arrest. They were able to resuscitate him. I think it was twice, if I'm not mistaken. But despite the heaviest antibiotics given to him, his organs started failing. Sorry.
And then when did they give you the news?
Around 1:30 London time. They said that they could still hear, so I started calling all the children. They say goodbye.
Grace Ibuna, we are not alone. We are still married.
Despite a lawsuit and attempts to keep her away, Ibuna fought to fulfill Arroyo's dying wishes.
I fought because I had to honor his wishes.
And what were these?
Not to give his body to her.
That he was very specific about that.
Very, and I have witnesses, sworn statements with my lawyer, from the relatives, from his friends, that he stated that. Everything was ready until, of course, she made pronouncements that I am the legal wife, so I will take everything. Grace is banned in everything. Of course, even the daughters had reluctancy on that. Kung ikaw man nasa position ko, says, anong gagawin mo, di ba? Especially so if you know that was not what he wanted. Says, pwede kunan mo to, di ba? Kasi pinalaki kami ng parents ko that fighting about money leaves a bad taste in the mouth. So I would rather not discuss it. Ngayon, kung sila, yun yung parating contestion nila, yung money, yung estate, whatever, pabayaan mo na lang sila. But for me, wala kang maririnig tungkol doon.
Andy Eigenman was at the cusp of becoming a TV drama princess when pregnancy cut her career short.
I'm only human. I wasn't in the proper position to have a child. I was so into chasing after my dreams. I was almost there. My life has...
You were poised for stardom.
Yes, the life that I wanted to have, it was about to begin, and everything, you know, I was getting everything that I wanted. I was almost at the peak of achieving almost all my goals.
Abortion was an option, but the young actress decided against it.
Why did I have to think about it as such a consequence that I have to face when I can just embrace it as a good thing? I'm having a baby, and even if I didn't ask for it, not everyone can be blessed with a child. So I will embrace it, and I will be thankful that God gave me Ellie. And so why would I want an abortion?
Michael Carandang grew up in the U.S. He has a rewarding career in daytime television, but he has never lost sight of his roots. Pushing many Filipino designers into the international limelight, Michael literally wears his love for country on his sleeve.
I got this 2006 yata. Dito sa Pilipinas. Some parang hole in the wall na tattoo shop. Dinala ako. Tapos, I wanted alibata. And it says Pinoy. You know, I didn't want to put Pinoy. So I wanted alibata.
So you really wear it?
Yeah, I love. You know, I'm successful kasi Filipino ako. That's it. You know, like, the reason I feel like the reason naging successful sa Amerika dahil dito ako pinanganak sa Pilipinas.
Advertising photographer John Chua has used the power of a photograph to advance many causes, from promoting the understanding of persons with disabilities, organizing a facelift of Hidalgo Street in Quiapo, caring for Mali, the lone elephant at the Manila Zoo, to his most recent venture of restoring the glory of the Banawe rice terraces.
So I said, I do not promise you fun, but if we work together, we'll let the people of Batad start it. We'll have people from the lowland coming in to help you. No funds, we don't have funds, but tell me what are the tools that you needed. We'll go and get the tools. We did get the tools. I want to help out, right? But you need to help yourself.
Last June, the World Heritage Committee removed the Banawe rice terraces from the danger list, thanks to the efforts of concerned citizens like John Chua. Philanthropists like Washington CSIP and Dado Banatao have gone beyond their business interests to help the country. At the age of 90, CSIP is unstoppable. He sits on the board of more than 20 companies and travels a third of the year.
So your passion is solving problems? What is it? Discovering things? What is your passion?
Right now, I have to carry out many of the things I do. I must have income. And many of the companies, of course, I give them advice.
You have to make money to give it away.
That's right, exactly. After paying tax.
Yeah. But you're working to give away money.
That's right, yeah. Let's say I've tried to analyze, because I say it's partly of my responsibility to see what I can do to help that situation. No? The first thing is education. If you are illiterate, 99.9% sure you will be poor. And if you are poor, you sell your bones.
CSIP supports many NGOs, but the closest to his heart are Sinergia, which aims to improve access to education by assisting local governments, parents, and the local community. And the Card Bank, or Center for Agriculture and Rural Development, the country's largest microfinance institution. Dado Banatao, whose innovations as an engineer are in every personal computer, chairs the Philippine Development Foundation, or PhilDev, which focuses on building an ecosystem of science and technology-based entrepreneurship and innovation for the development of the Philippines. His Super Fund aims to give 151 students who will take math and science courses 1 million pesos each for the next 5 years. So far, only 20 students have qualified. Interested applicants are encouraged to visit PhilDev's website. But more than being a generous donor, Banatao is also a mentor. He returns to the Philippines this October to host the annual PhilDev Forum called Brainstorm Silicon Valley Comes to the Philippines.
I was discovered coming out from a very simple place, a simple life. There must be millions, hundreds of thousands of kids who are like me but may never have the chance. When I talk about where I come from, Philippines, connected with what I've done, I take advantage of it, especially when it comes to people from outside of the Philippines who may have a different idea. I always say, I am Filipino, And I think we're as good as anyone.
An abiding love for country and a sense of civic duty. These are attributes of people who have gone beyond themselves and also live for others. I'm Cez Orenia Drilon, and this is People on ANC. Coming up in the next season of People, the turnaround CEO, Globe President Ernest Cu, the man of the hour, Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, the educator, Secretary Armin Luistro.